tends to feel slow. And like Lacoste was saying, they haven't really, I think, totally addressed the Coddle. We were speaking just before, and you're like, the Mars can withstand the lane, and that's certainly true. But what he can get done in the lane is an entirely different question, and I'm not sure if Thunder are going to like that answer.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think it's better than last draft, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Last draft was horrendous, though.
Yes, let's be honest, that was not a good draft.
Yeah, I think Pakazs Morphling, if he goes for the stats Morphling, is pretty good against Lifestealer, because that kind of Morphling went for like Manta Scotty, right? And that's pretty good against both Lifestealer and DK. I'm actually a big fan of the Morphling in this draft. I think it's a kind of a free Morphling game.
Yep.
That said, I do agree with your point of Coddle not being addressed whatsoever. It's really up to what Darkmao can accomplish. He is an okay hero against Coddle because you shove lanes, right? So Coddle shoves, you shove, you ignore each other, you never actually lane. This is the meta right now.
Yep.
But after that, usually heroes that can do that can also kill the Coddle or run at him.
Yeah.
You don't really have it.
It's also like the top lane is strong, although it could be Matthew dying. Okay, he's taking leap. He shouldn't die here, but now they can at least rejoice that he's taking leap. Because if he had taken arrow and perhaps looked to throw some arrows mid lane, that's how you can look to alleviate some of this pressure. The Mars mid, it's not as good as like the Kunkka of Dark Magos in terms of setting things up, but there's certainly not much for Matthew to do top lane after like level 3, right? Secure the second point in Siphon for DP, and she'll be fine versus Lifestealer. But it's hard for her to throw arrows and hit them versus Coddle, who, yes, stands still and channels a spell, but is very fast, very small hero to actually hit with arrow, which is relevant. So you're finally your lean model point.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And Mars just isn't really good at setting it up, right? So it's really kind of hard, I think, for Thunder.
Yeah. The real asset, I agree. I want to point that out just in case people don't know, is Coddle's model is incredibly lean. This old man only eats vegetables, and that's why it's so hard to hit him with any sort of projectiles.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and spear, arrow going to be included in those. We'll see here how good they can look to make it work. I mean, that's just, you can't stop Coddle from getting the first range creep mid lane. It's literally impossible.
Yeah, and Mago's like, well, this lane is fun. Oh, Mago is really nice out.
Yeah, and Armel's so he's got a perfect voice line for that, doesn't he? Bottom lane, though, this bot lane I think is really quite strong, to be honest. I don't think Pakazs has anything to fear in this lane. Panda even is doing going to do a good job in the early levels, just buying him all the space that he needs, where Morphlings are theoretically in danger in this lane again. I don't think that's the case, but still.
Yep. I agree. I think that you should be fine for the most part. I mean, you do need to look at level 3, like you said, but I think it's going to come soon. And DK Will don't have the most skill potential early. DK is very weak early levels, so all he does is farm, right? Yep. Not there to kill heroes.
It's pretty simple, I think, for Pakazs. If DK starts walking at you and he's wanting to get within his stun range, start just morphing strength. It ain't that hard.
That is the hope I have. Like, both these teams are teams that rely on their carry a lot. I'd certainly say that Fnatic have a more... They certainly play around Armel more as a win condition, or more often, rather, right? It's not just the Raven show. But for Thunder Awaken, it is really just the Pakazs show. And the rest of the team is there to enable him. And Hamon is one of his favorite heroes, if not his favorite hero, in addition to the fact that it's a really good matchup for Morphling. You know, if he picks the Morphling, I trust him.
No, they deny mid lane. Marco even committed the spear. It's getting painful.
This mid lane is awful.
Yeah, and this is the concern I had. I don't think, Mago's having an excellent time, especially after last game.
Yeah.
On the same hero, an even more annoying matchup than the Storm even.
Yep.
And they dodges the Illuminates, right? But yeah, it's not looking amazing here in this mid lane.
You know what's stressful about this is that in the Coddle lane, you understand as a mid laner that your only moments when you interact with Coddle is like the first 2 waves. Yep. And then you stop actually playing the lane, and Coddle just goes and farms everything, right? And since Darkmao made 2 mistakes, honestly, that's going to weigh on his conscience. The better mid laner you are, I remember Samael saying this, the better mid laner you are, the more these small mistakes weigh on you.
Dark Mago's good, and he's also a sick freak. He plays like 15 games, of Dota.
No, he does play 15 days of Dota a day. That's what, he actually bends time.
He heats up his eyeballs.
Oh, yeah, actually. Like swordfish,
Like
right?
swordfish,
Fun
apparently.
fact, swordfish hunt by heating up their eyeballs, and that allows them to see prey in slow motion, because they experience time different than humans.
Okay, fair enough. Sure thing. We won't get into it here.
The Matrix is based on swordfish.
We won't get into it. But yeah, Margo, story the mid lane, he is struggling to find the farm.
Yep.
And might be a similarly average time to Link Dagger as last game.
Matthew is doing the thing where you decide, maybe I'll just take a stroll. I would like to gank mid, but I can't. Sacred at least should be fine this top lane. He's getting a bit harassed though now with Raven. Sacred.
Yeah, deep jabs as well. Might be dying top lane. Sorry, make that bottom as Sacred sounds up. Yep, and they will get first blood. It's Panda with the spit, who will pick it up. That second poison attack, very strong.
Yeah, Panda continues to attack DJ. And DJ could be in trouble. Panda as well as a fairy fire. In fact, Panda acknowledges he's going to die. Lets Pakazs finish him off. In fact, Pakazs cannot get the last hit because Panda's poison is too strong.
Yeah, I mean, this position 5 Veno is... sorry, not Veno. Viper is venomous, though. I mean, Panda does this regularly. He's, as he denies himself, he's one of the highest ranked players in NA because he's very, very annoying to lane against, and he's a great position 5 player. And he does everything for his carry, actually. A little fun fact. Pakaz's favorite player in general, like, you know, of all the professionals in sports, is himself.
Yes.
And the reason why this lane is so good and why Panda is such a good fit for this team is because when they asked Panda, who is your favorite professional sports player, he also said Pakazs. It's a match made in heaven.
It really is. It really is. Imagine a year ago when you had to tell us about HFN. You know, my favorite one is Pakazs. HFN's like, what?
What?
Why do you like him so much? Anyway, this lane has gone well for them, and this is the saving grace for Thunder. Last time we actually saw an absolute domination by them. As top lane, by the way, Sacred, he's in trouble. That Spirit Siphon might secure the kill onto Raven, though, after Sacred's death. Matthew's going for it, and the leap will ensure this happens. And we still have a Starstorm. Matthew attacking John Noel. He knows there's no shield, so no damage reduction any longer. The creeps, though, are really annoying. Matthew has one last leap. The Fairy Fire on top of that. Matthew will make sure this turns into a double kill. On Thunder, the 4 kills they've gotten have been on both of their supports.
Yep. And Mago's doing something pretty cool in the mid lane in the meantime. You'll see he's approaching from an awkward angle, and that's because he just farmed Coddle's easy camp in front of him.
Nice.
If there's one thing that Mars doesn't really care about, as long as he doesn't, die immediately to eliminate, as he predicts that one, he can tank 1 or 2 of them pretty easily. It's basically the mid lane Mars, or off lane Mars build for mid, just faster. And so there's going to be the Soul Ring for some more mana. That's
Radiant's toughened up their structures.
I reached the button. Yeah, the Mars is capable of tanking 1 or 2 Illuminates, right? Hence he goes for the Soul Ring build, which also allows him to shove the lanes. And
yeah, so he's doing a good job of shoving lane and then immediately going back and contesting Armel and trying to make him, slow his farming speed a bit. This is going to work for the side camps, but eventually Coddle's going to go into his jungle and farm these. Now stacks being made by Johnny Wall here for shortly, even faster.
Yeah, well, at least it's not the domination of last time, right? No. Which is a huge relief for Thunder. There's also not this high-pressure Beastmaster. The Dragon certainly will be able to do a little bit of work later with Dragon form, but the work's can come into the mid lane where like Mago already gets the first kill on Armel. And Matthew did think of taking that, but Mago said no.
Yeah.
God's rebuke, it's mine.
That's a really, really big rotation. Both supports coming over the 6-minute rune, level 6 ready to go here on the Mars. And now Thunder, I think they can start to say, yeah, we get to play some Dota this game. And that's where they shine, right? Because they do play very, very well with Pakazs by basically playing as 4 on the opposite side of the map of where he is.
That is very true. And that's how they make space for him early, and then they just literally follow Pakazs wherever he goes. Pakazs says jump, and they go how high.
Exactly. When he has items. Before then, they go, get away from us.
Jump. What are you doing?
What are you doing here? Get away from me. And now Mago even going to contest a small stack. There's more of these to be had in the Dire jungle, and he's going to get most of the creeps. He misses out on 2 of the big creeps.
Nope. Panda might be called Panda, but he's more like a lapdog, really. He just follows whatever core that he thinks is the strongest right now, and currently is starting that Mago. He's been disturbing this Coddle's farm, and they've been doing a decent job of countering Armel, not through heroes, but rather through strategy, which is impressive because Coddle mid is honestly looking really strong right now. Yeah,
I mean, Coddle still, he's going to be the richest hero in the game. It's no surprise. His GPM still pretty
Morphling is matching him, though, which is impressive.
Yeah. And again, every single little bit of gold that they take away from this Coddle that they put on Mago, even if Panda takes it, but the Thunder are going to be very, very happy with that.
Of course, the problem, though, is that by doing this, they are giving Raven a freer lane than they would have otherwise. They can't really gank this Lifestealer. Not like Mars could do much against them anyway. And Lifestealer is a faster carry than Morphling, something that could come into play a little bit later here for Fnatic.
And here's where Fnatic is really going to just go absolutely ham on this Coddle. The bots are being delivered now. Now 8 minutes in. It is going to be difficult for Thunder, who don't have any really natural bots builders, to try and contest his global mobility and his farm.
Mago is keeping the Willow Bay inside another Toxin as she goes by the DJ. This is important because this was the Dragon Form already committed here by Jabs, and he wasn't able to really hit the tower with his first Dragon Form. Actually, a huge win for Thunder by doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They gank towards Pakazs' lanes. Again, Sacred's totally fine. He's been fine here since level 3. Again, it's kind of the DP versus melee strength hero matchup. And all so good so far for Thunder. Armel is going to mirror that rotation now as he looks towards the top lane. Not throwing out the Illuminate quite yet as he wants Sacred to kick this one off first. There's going to be the Frost Shield, the blind. Sacred is going to be able to tank at least a bit here thanks to the infused raindrops and the bracer, but he is slowed to a crawl, siphoning a couple of heroes, but that last one's on to the Lich, not known for being tanky. And Mago is here, trying to throw the arena. Oh, but Armel's just a bit too speedy.
Junwell is also kind of juking him a little bit. Mao can still probably secure this kill as he spears the Life Stealer and uses that to kill Junwell. Matthew trying to run away from the Illuminate. Milo still has the arena. Armel obviously a target because Raven still has that rage. And Thunder Awaken, they use the Moonlight Shadow. Of course, Fnatic did see that Fate time, so they should be aware of this.
Yeah, no surprise to them. They just wanted to not get caught any further. And Armel, he beats him back to mid, right? That's the BOTs. He farms one more wave. He already applies pressure. This is what I mean. It's hard for Thunder. They're always going to feel like, in the early game at least, they're going to be kind of reacting to these coddle rotations. It kind of limits the moves you have to make if, you know, your tier 1 is always under attack in the first 15 minutes. Because a horse stampedes it.
A horse stampedes it and a dragon comes and spits on it, right?
Yeah. So far, though, the dragon has not been able to spit on this bottom tower too much. No. Jabs has been held at bay, again, a lot thanks to that first arena. And speaking of putting things on tower, Sacred's gonna let loose the Exo Spirits now.
Yes, he's gonna put the ghost on the tower.
Yes. Well, he does. He's gonna sick him.
Yeah, he's gonna... Do you think DP, like, throws him like baseballs? That's what she does. He just whacks him with the tower. That's what deals damage.
Over time, the Banshee remnants of her previous lives return to haunt the present.
Oh, wow. Oh, so she believes in reincarnation. That's very interesting. Panza. He got hit by the Illuminate, which means he's dead. Welcome to Coddle Gaming.
Yep. And meanwhile, back top, Sacred, the Reiki has pulled back the Ghost. So that's going to allow Mago to get this tower with Arena Blood in tow.
Oh, no.
Fnatic not really too interested in contesting this push. Instead, they're more eager to potentially get a catch on the Pakazs. Again, a bit difficult here as he simply starts strength gaining. And yep, that's their kill attempt.
Fnatic needs to buy crystals to protect against this.
Yes, they do against the past lives, the DP.
Dark Mago is very close to that Blink Dagger, so this time they are looking like they'll be able to make plays, and Pakazs is going to be going for the stats build we talked about earlier, that Manta style into Scotty. Let's see how that works out.
You know what I completely blanked out on is that Coddle is a Vessel builder, and it kicks ass on him.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he farms it incredibly quick. I mean,
that's a good point.
This is still the item that counters Morphling, isn't it?
Yes, so what Pakazs used to do is don't fight at all until you get Manta style, right? Pretend like this is just a PvE game, because Fnatic is going to run at you. Raven is close-ish to his armlet, right? Once he gets that, I think you can start putting pressure if you want to. If you don't go for the armlet Dezo, I think you can fight on the armlet, and then you just build signs as you go.
Okay, this is where Fnatic can finally look to now up the pressure versus Morphling. As we saw before, I mean, an Invis, Willow, she pops up, she hits you with Curse Ground. Oh no, I'm going to be stunned in 4 seconds. No threat. However, Blink Dagger for Jabs, which is on its way, is a big threat. There's Mago as well with his own Blink Dagger. It's a very fast timing. Again, a lot of those stats are from offlane Mars, but this is still pretty darn good for a Mars. DK, though, has a Blink of his own. Thunder, they're not ready for it.
Okay, they did stun the Morphling. He didn't get that red shift off. The damage was really high, and he does that to the poison from Jabs. However, in this arena, they stuck Jabs against the wall and decimated him as they also bring down DJ. That last stun will not save his life. However, the tower does fall in favor of Fnatic, and they did kill the carry, so not the greatest trade, but wasn't too bad for them.
It's acceptable. They lose the tower, they lose the carry, but it's acceptable. And this is something that's really interesting,
well, they
right?
take the tower, lose. Oh, no, you're right. Sorry.
No, they lose the tower. Yeah. For Thunder, it's acceptable, right? This is something that's really interesting because if you look at the Blink Dagger timings, especially for DK Mars, DK usually gets it a bit earlier and much more consistently. The standard deviation's super low because he's not really played mid anymore. But for Mars, it does differ a lot. Usually offlane Mars, they buy, you know, double bracer because they're not naturally tanky. But this is a mid lane Mars. He's a lot faster, and I think Fnatic are on the receiving end of that one.
The DP is going to be found down bottom as the Vessel comes to deploy as well, Richie. That's going to hit with the Illuminate. Sacred has the Hooded Defiance.
There's Mago.
Help him a lot. That Mago comes and joins in. He did spear Jabs, though. He was probably looking for Armel instead. Sacred somehow keeping himself still alive, but that last Spirit side of him will be cancelled promptly with a pa-pang of the field.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't know, you did all the sound effects in Dota with your...
It was me and
voice.
Dota Capitalist.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Sorry, Dota Cap, my bad. Dark Mago, he was looking to spear the coddle. If he got coddled, actually could have been a kill, honestly. Yeah. But intelligently enough, Jazz put himself in the way of the spear. He is going to save his princess for the coddle.
And now Jabs is making great progress as well towards his fireball. He's going to get his next items, BKB, Acceptor, whatever he really feels like, extremely fast.
Yep.
So this DK, this is where he does have the advantage over something like an offlane Mars. His DK with that fireball, he farms like a madman. Mars generally doesn't.
I mean, Mars farms good, like on the baseline, but it requires so much mana, right?
Yeah.
And also, when you're at mid-Mars, I don't think you have the liberty to just go and push out waves. You kind of want to be active with your team. And the problem, of course, happens with Sacred, where the TP farms okay-ish. Certainly not as fast as the Fireball. Certainly not as low commitment as Fireball, because you need to Crypt Swarm the wave twice, and that means you need to stay there for quite a long time.
We haven't seen much of the carries. That's because they're both very keen to get their first couple of items online. Of course, for Pakazs, that's obviously the Manta. For Lifestealer, it's going to be the casual Sanj, which just synergizes beautifully with his entire kit. And that Scotty is a bit earlier than you might expect it, of course, to deal with the Morph and the DP. Very high value this game for him.
Yeah. Pakazs would have maybe considered the BKB, right? The Vessel as well as a secondary item, or just deal with Coddle in general. That Scotty might deter that idea. I wonder if Morphling will also go for his own Scotty.
So Brix, Mago, he's in.
But John Noel is so quick on the Sinister Gaze. He stopped Dark Mago's initiation. He has to settle for this ledge, punishing him for discretion. But in fact, Jabs stuns Dark Mago. He did get the spear off. That's not going to be enough. Terrorize on top of this. Dark Mago's been punished. And Matthew falls with him. Sacred, he bit off him more than he could chew, went into the Lion's Den, and he got torn to shreds.
Yeah, he did, that Lion. He thought it was a Kitten's Den, but it was certainly a Lion's Den, diving past the tier 1 tower while it's still up. Very aggressive move, right? And this is why we like to cast Dark Mago. He makes these plays. Fnatic, though, they're ready. They're in position. They were smoking themselves, actually, so maybe unlucky for Thunder, but Fnatic also have their own timings you have to consider. And it's just a great counter initiation. Shout out to the supports. DJ and John Noel, they save their spells here until they're just needed, right?
Yep.
You could see the Terrorize gets pump faked once or twice. Finally, it comes through just to guarantee these couple of kills. And
that's good.
That's the problem with these kind of initiations for Mago, right? They either work and they look like he's the smartest man in the game,
yep,
or they turn out like that and you end up scratching your head a bit because what could you have done?
Yeah, and Matthew now gets found out as well, so another easy kill going the way of Fnatic. This is not what Thunder Awaken was hoping for. And Dark Mago, when he does these initiations, he tells his teammates, let's go, cowards. And his teammates sometimes follow him to his death. They've learned that Dark Mago will do it whether they say no or yes.
Very true. Again, it's all to create space. It's all in the name, that is, of creating space for Pakazs, who has
your Lord and Savior, Pakazs,
at least gotten the Manta style online. So a fight is viable. It's viable that he shows up, especially if they get the first stun like this onto Jabs. Broken here. They can get through him rather quickly. Spits down the fireball onto Dark Magos. They get the first kill here. Panda's likely to die there to that Vessel charge, but Pakazs is in here with the rage as well. Januel can't touch him. He runs into the wall, and he will be finished off by Sacred. Raven on the run with just a Sanj and Armlet, not keen on going mano versus Pakazs, as Pakazs wants to go for more. Onto DJ, he will go. Terrorize channel, but juked by the Manta. Pakazs with 2 kills. And he's ready to fight on just the Manta, Abo.
That was so good, Dark Mago. And this is the beauty of this player. He initiates on you, and you go and say, is he throwing again, or is he actually making the play of his life? And that was the slather in this case. Honestly, if you're Fnatic, you can't blame him for this. There's no way you read this. Genuinely. Like, he does this, and you go, are his teammates near him? How do you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he even checks his teammates if he's there.
I can guarantee you, after watching those regional final games, remember, there were instances where Mago doesn't even know. he will just make the jump. How do you play against it? It's like the 50-50, right?
It really is.
It's insane. And he goes, the team was there.
Yeah, and John Noel was like, what do I do? What is this guy? That was really well played by Pakazs, though. Pakazs really understanding the read there, and that he could take a couple of free kills. Of course, the Manta style stemming from the Vessel early. No Scotty yet, a Lifestealer. And look at his quick by Richie. He is going for that Scotty himself.
Oh, yeah. I think it's pretty big, right? They did slightly adjust it. It's more move speed slow, right, than it is attack speed. Or sorry. It's more, what did they
attack speed slow, the movement slow.
Yes,
I think is that, right?
Yeah, they slightly adjusted it in 731C.
Yeah. But the healing is the important part.
Healing's the important part, absolutely. Yeah.
Both for Lifestealer and Morphling just want to reduce the healing as much as possible. The attack speed slow, I think on Morphling is not that big a deal, to be honest, or movement speed, right?
trouble brewing
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Radiant.
I think the reason I bring it up for the movement speed is, you know, that's how you play against the
Can you confirm just for the stream?
You try and kite him out. Yeah, it is
Buff
the
the attack
melee.
speed
right now.
and lowered movement speed slow?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's hard. These small changes, you gotta read them with a.
It's 10%, but that's a lot here for these melee kind of heroes.
It is. And you won't be able to kite Lifestealer as easily, which is an important part here, of course.
Yep.
The attack speed, though, might be an issue with a mano that we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Naturally, Morphling does usually scale better.
Invis rune, yeah, so he's gonna be able to get the jump here. Got his own blink
as
dagger.
well.
Yeah. Again, it's just you need jabs to be the one to jump in.
Yes. But Jabs is scared because of Netatoxin.
True. And Pakazs is gonna be tricky. Okay, this could be it. Into the trees he goes, and
Oh, that was weird. He went to the trees, lost vision of him, and Jabs couldn't really jump in with a Dragon Tail in time.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, the way that the fears work a bit differently, right? Because if you get feared from DP, I think you just run away from her. But if you get feared by Jinx and Willow, you run towards your fountain.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
There's some weird interactions where it seems to break and
Yeah, and sometimes with terrain, it's really funky as well. Or I mean, just a bit of a miscommunication there. Either way, it's just an Invis rune at the end of the day for Fnatic and an ulti that they can honestly likely go without here for the next minute. As we've entered a bit of a lull where both cores, again, they would like to get their Scotties up. It's the race, a drag race even, to the eye of Scotty. Armel, in the meantime, he's happy to continue farming the entire map. Richest hero in the game.
Yeah, Armel, what can he do with his farm, though? He's gone for a BKB to survive this onslaught from the Mars as well, so now he'll be able to leave the arena. For sure, that Mao has his number now. Matthew actually reveals the smoke, and did they see him?
Oh, well, now they will. Planting a ward. They're going to see Matthew. Matthew tosses the arrow. Yeah,
did
make that.
Okay, Thunder Awaken saw him on the ward at high ground. That's what I was asking, actually. Yeah, so well done by Matthew. That saves him completely. I mean, it wasn't really intentional, but good positioning, I guess.
Yeah. Thunder would love to fight when Mago finishes up his BKB. He's 800 gold from it now, but that gives him a much better fighting chance in these team fights, making sure that Coddle doesn't just kill you with a couple of the salvo of spells, basically.
And we have extra level 2 now as well, so we're hitting the stride for Sacred. They do take a free tower down bottom, though. It's tough because regardless of what we're talking about in the items, currently Lifestealer is just stronger than Morphling. That's the nature of it. He does much more in these fights because of the rage. Morphling needs a little bit more time. The second item is going to probably make the change.
And something we haven't mentioned is that, you know, Armel is free to farm like Raven is free to farm as he just was down bottom. Right?
Oh, mid. They found Sacred. Terrorize hit. They hit with Illuminate as well. The Bedlam Sacred, thanks to the Hood of Defiance, is still alive. Sacred taking his whole thing, but I think he will live. And thanks to the Arena Blood, Jazz is also in trouble. Oh, he lost his princess, or his Willow in this case, and now the Knight goes down as well.
Yeah, that was a really, really good counter initiation. That time was Fnatic who go a little bit too far behind a tier 1 tower, and I punished with some great rotations. Arena of Blood, sure, just for the DK, but again, while your core is off farming safely, you're happy if you're Thunder.
Yep.
They are getting ever closer here to the Scotty. They're just about dead even, so we're very likely for a big train wreck of a fight, Avo, in terms of the Eye of Scotty timings for both of these heroes.
The true essence of SCA versus SA. Timing, strategy, who cares? Go 5-on-5, and whoever's better at clicking spells, that's whoever comes out alive.
Okay, double BKB for Thunder, right? They now have one for Sacred, one for Mago. This is going to be big for them. We can see the hectic call.
Oh, Sacred has it. Oh, wow. That is huge, actually.
That is big, yep. Coddle, of course, he's got one for himself, and this DK is a bit further behind the rest. With this Scotty coming up momentarily here for Raven, I don't think Fnatic are going to wait for this. It's getting about that time where first Roche becomes the objective for both teams, and you know, you set up that 5 minutes, you know, farm your next item, take tier 2s, yada yada yada, right? Yep,
the song and dance. But there's one team that's radiant in every single game, and they have the advantage.
I do.
And Thunder Awaken,
and they've got the BKB advantage right now. Yeah, and the Eye of Scotty. Pakazs has purchased it.
They also have it on Raven. No, they don't have it just yet. They actually could use a small window opportunity.
It's tiny.
A huge team fight. It's tiny, but that is the strongest hero this match.
For Dark Mago, always banned, but this time they look for the fight, and they're going to fight Roche, the big guy.
Okay, so they go for the safe option instead. Trying to look for a kill is a bit difficult. Fnatic setting up for this fight. There's the Blinding Light to annoy them, but they didn't hit Pakazs with well positioned.
Okay, Scotty's ready. Raven's on the way.
Raven is on the way. However, this Roche is falling quickly. The Exo is taking it down. Terrorize might hit Sacred. Sacred's going to hit the
Pakazs went out of the pit.
He still has the Exo. Pakazs out of the pit. You're totally right.
Mago.
Sacred's almost about to die. Mago creating some space. Pakazs to bring the Roche. He just got back. He got the Aegis. And Mago, he's still keeping the enemy team at bay.
They're getting jabs.
Mago might die. No, he's actually surviving just barely. Raven in trouble. Scotty is just ruining his life. They go for DJ next, and he is not going to be a good vehicle. He just crashed on the side of the road. One passenger trying to escape. Pakazs does not want to leave him to live. Raven, luckily with a rage, will allow himself to go back home safely.
Yeah, but Armel is just the entire time casting these big illuminates on the backlines. He ends up picking off 2, I believe, towards the end of that fight, and he doesn't even use BKB, so he conserves that, just playing the coddle like he's supposed to be, long-range spellcaster, just kind of demolishing things. Pakazs makes the move to just get out of the pit as soon as he sees Terrorize. Don't believe it would have caught him here.
I think Raven's choice to immediately leave that team fight made that team fight so much better for Fnatic than it had any right to be. You can see it here, right? Because of the arena, they actually keep him at bay for so long. He goes and fights for a little bit, and the moment Roche falls, Raven, the ever-consistent carry, gets the kill on Mars, or tries to, and then just leaves.
Yeah, again, it's Armel. He gets it, not on this one, but he just keeps throwing these horses over, man, and Mago's got nowhere to go.
These horses. Can you imagine if you just see an old man on the side of the road and he just keeps throwing like ponies at you, dude? Yeah. What would you do? You slap him. That was the choice that Mago chose.
I mean, very little else you could do, I suppose, if he also solar binds you and he can't move. But you know,
what would that be in the real life equivalent? He'd like, oh, the old man's bald and he flares you with his eyes, right?
There we go.
With his bald head. Yeah.
There we go.
Krillin style. As Pakazs quite happy with his team fight went, because I think he determined he is stronger than Lifestealer currently, and Raven starting to feel the anxiety about that.
Yeah, I don't think he quite has the damage to right-click through him yet.
No.
But he will. It's a slow but eventual win for Morphling. This does get scarier for the Lifestealer when the damage items come online for Morph, right? And right now, what's he got flying towards him? See anything too crazy here? Just the crystals. It's bang for your buck, and as you can see, it's quite fast here for the Morph. They have to pull, of course, from the patch average because not a lot of Morphling. I think the first one of the tournament here.
This is the best bang for your buck, I would say.
Yeah, first time this major. There we go.
Wow. Awesome.
New record.
New record. Pakazs, best Morph in this major? I'd say so.
I'd say so. And the worst one, though.
Yeah, he really does.
And he's also just statistically average, so it's hard to say.
He's everything. Yeah. He encompasses Morphling itself. Yeah. This joke ran his course. BKB on the Jabs here. This might be a small turning point. Jabs kept getting caught in the arena, right? Yep. And that's actually like Mao's role, very similar to what Deadpool was doing. Now with the BKB, he'll be able to just ignore this God of War.
Yeah, not only that, honestly, Panda has been doing a great job every fight at just wherever the DK is, he spits on him. Mago is going to PKB immediately as they turn now for the kill on John. Spear will collect him on the tree. Raven cuts it down, and there's the E-Blade from Armel as he's been farming up. Arena's up, the Jabs with his fresh BKB jumps in and deletes Dark Mago. John eventually drops as that's the Chain Frost bouncing around. There's going to be the Vessel applied to Matthew, but without the Solar Bind, it's not going to be enough damage for the kill. Sacred did use the Exo for this as Panda, and he's going to be forced back, and he's looking for some more damage onto Armel. Stunned up, left high and dry. I believe that's going to be Thunder losing 2 for 1 then, but they still conserve the Aegis.
No, I think Raven actually went for the psychological play, right? Because he breaks the tree, and you're like, what does that do? It's not hoodwink. No. And then Mago thought, does he think I'm fucking hoodwink?
I don't know.
And he just went on him, like, I'm going to kill this Lich. Who does he think he is breaking my tree? And all of a sudden, they got baited into it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it was about either, because it's not like when you're stunned by a spear, you lose vision like a hoodwink, right?
No, none of it. I'm telling you, it's a psychological warfare. He knows Mago would get baited by that.
I guess he did.
It was for his own vision, I would presume as well. Right?
Yeah, right. Just in case
Lich dies. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just in case he dies.
That's the real analysis, but you know, we like to make fun.
DD here for DJ. Right now, Pakazs, nothing in the quick buy. He's sitting on a pretty decent amount of gold here with 2K. Raven's got the Satanic clearly set. That's secondary Dispel, and of course the lifesteal amped by Sanj, right? With Feast, it's a lot. It will help him a 1v1.
It will. I mean, the secondary Dispel can be kind of useful when you're trying to regen a bit, because Morphling might be like, you know, hit Scotty, run away, doesn't reapply it. All of a sudden you Dispel the Scotty and you get like that extra second. Sometimes 1 or 2 hits of Satanic is all you need to really regain everything, right?
Absolutely, right. Especially
it'll come into play here.
When you got Feast operating as well, all on top of that, your Sanj, yes, it's going to be good.
It also allows you to play much more liberally with your Rage, because right now you have to be careful with the DP silence, right, as you said. Yeah. And with the Satanic, boom, you can just go into the fight, keep it until the very last moment, who cares?
I was wondering if we would see a Dispel here, an aggressive Dispel, that is, for Thunder to deal with the Frost Shield, because that is something we haven't really touched upon, but would be kind of a fight changer, right?
Who's building it?
Well, it's Matthew, right? Matthew has the Yule Scepter now.
Okay.
A little bit hard to use this item on a Lifestealer in general, but it is important to consider Frost Shield is going to allow Lifestealer to tank basically all of Morph. Morph is a right-clicker. He's a physical damage in case you haven't seen the new Morph. This is going to be, like I said...
Yeah, it's that Morph. It's the older Morph, right?
Yep.
It's not the shotgun anymore.
Yep.
You do the, you just build a bunch of stats and you're kind of unkillable.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then, I mean, he's got great base damage. I mean, he always has, right? But now, since that's your only go-to, with the Crystallis eventually into Daedalus, perhaps Silver Edge, on top of the BKB, Pakazs is going to be mighty upset if this Lifestealer has 70% damage resist on top of armor reductions.
I like the choice of Satanic a lot, and I was going to decide to go for the Silver Edge, by the way, so he might be able to just 100 to 0 like Malo. And I think that might be the solution. In the Bet Boom game, I think something that they didn't really consider, they couldn't really do was the... Oh, we burst on the Mars, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just couldn't really do that because it was a support and everything, and you wasted too much time, etc., etc. But here, where he's a mid laner, bursting him down is a huge win to you, and then he can't really control you for a while.
As they will do the same here to Panda. Malgo thought about going back in, and then Panda said, no, 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 no. I love Pakazs. Get away from me. Don't die.
You think that's what he does when he dies?
Pakazs!
I love you!
Pakazs, please! No,
Pakazs like, this weirdo keep calling my name. Raven?
Structures like this.
He's not too scared. And it's going to be the Raged Pakazs buyback here on the Viper.
Oh.
Still before the Roche timing, but Abba is eager to fight.
Malo is way too eager to fight.
Yeah, he is.
And they're eager to burst him, eager to show him his place. Pakazs, he leaves.
Sacred with a blink as well. Yeah, Pakazs is eager to leave for sure. Yeah, again, I was a bit surprised Thunder were so keen to defend the tier 1. They still have top, they're Radiant, right? So of course they want to be looking for this next Roche fight, not giving up too much control, but they still have this ward for 30 more seconds they can place. The one that Scott and Armel currently. They have a top tier 1 as well, you know, that they can play around. So a bit of an unnecessary death. And one of the biggest differences on why it's so much easier to nuke through a mid lane Mars is mid lane Mars a bit more of a spellcaster than the kind of tank that an off-lane Mars is. He's going to refresh you here from Mago, right? He realizes it's all about the spears, getting that secondary stun, continuing to lock down these heroes, more so than, you know, tanking TB shots or tanking the gyrocopter flak cannons with my active bulwark, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna be a rough survival though for him as a result, because yeah, you're right, double spear, double arena is going to be a huge idea, but once you get Silver Edge, I feel like you kind of need to tank at some point.
Yeah. Or
they just burst through you, and this is what I was telling you. He's just a really prime objective. I think the idea of not going on the enemy tank is long dead in Dota as long as you have the right items to deal with him, you know?
Yeah.
This is a good example of it.
And even then, right, it's not like he's the only traditional quote-unquote tank in the team, right? So Sacred is very, very difficult to kill. No Yule Scepter, mind you, right? But a BKB and now a Blink Dagger to help his positioning. Yeah. Even Panda, like he's a 5. Like
he's a tanky 5, you're right. And he has Glimmer Cape and Force Staff.
Yeah,
the Morphling could be considered somewhat of a tank, you know?
A risky strategy. A risky strategy, but that could always pan out, because I think too many times we've all played against Morphlings who have just simply...
Yeah, that's why I think the first target is Mars, because you get rid of the arena, and then that's it. I mean, Dark Malo's always playing so front.
Yep.
This is something that Betboom also did, by the way. Sorry, I quote this team so much.
That's okay.
Really
They're
good.
fun to watch.
Yeah, so they figured out that against DOTA, because teams will actually tank so much with the DOTA in the front lines, if you just kill her first with the Mars arena, you win. And it sounds simple, but it's a very good way of baiting how the enemy team plays.
From Thunder.
As Sacred will be the first one to lead. Dark Malo,
there he
goes for the crazy play, but he doesn't get it. Pakazs, however, does burst down DJ.
Yeah.
Sacred. Okay, he's in the middle of this fireball. There's the arena finally coming out, and there's no rage on the Lifestealer currently in the background.
They're on Armel.
That's something wild the whole time as Sacred and Malo just annoy Raven. Raven realizing, oh no, they killed my mid laner. Jazz is down as well, and Raven has no rage. He's forced to go into a creep, but that creep is made out of paper. Now he's stunned and speared and killed. Triple kill for Pakazs, and that's the execution you expect from Thunder.
Yeah, Pakazs just kind of, he's the widest guy on that smoke gank, so to speak, right? He swings around from basically here, it seems.
The widest, all right.
The widest, the most wide, yes,
okay.
That's correct. You know, like the wide walk, you know, the meme.
Sure.
And he cuts down DJ. Armel's in a very similar position. Again, doesn't get the BKB off. Wouldn't have really saved him. And everyone else is kind of distracted by Mago and Sacred, the two quote-unquote tanks we were talking about. You could see, right? He enters the fight from a perfect position, and the tanky core is, at least for Fnatic, are up front. There's Armel. They see him, and they kill him basically instantly.
Like, The only reason I think Pakazs even went close to them was actually to get the rage, right? Like morph into Lifestealer and get his rage, right? And that's how he just killed Kotl. BKB or not, there's nothing you can do against the Lifestealer Gold Frenzy plus the Scotty that Morphling had.
And this is a serious push, eh? That we're catching picture-in-picture. That's a tier 3 tower down.
I agree, eh?
They use whatever was left in that Exo, and they get through the tier 3 and likely the melee barracks without buybacks. Roshan is going to be up in 15. They have Panda. Yeah. He's just parked in the pit scouting. Finally, he's going to leave.
Look at these hosers. They could do nothing to stop
these hosers. They could do absolutely nothing.
Not Kamago now goes to the A on this. So that's going to give him the tank ability we were talking about, because he's starting to realize maybe my role is not so much of milling arenas. He's not the Roman architect this game. He's just kind of the guy who packs who takes the punch.
Okay, this is a bit of a risky fight. This Elder Dragon form activated. Armel giving chase. They know for sure Roche is up. Mago is going to whip the spear. Armel's first BKB of the game now. Yeah. Matthew and company eating a lot of damage from the Illuminate, but they will disengage as Armel's BKB wears off. And likely Thunder here looks for the re-engage.
I don't know all about that BKB as well. I mean, it was scary otherwise. They have the Infest Bomb. This is not the best use of Lifestealer these days.
Here goes.
As they go into the Roach Pit, they're trying to steal the Aegis. Can they accomplish it? No! Pakazs takes it in the arena, gets Armel again. He had no BKB this time. Armel, he's feared. He's going to hit the wall. He's going to die. Jabs also falls, and this poor Lifestealer sent up in the air. He does have a rage, but no TP, so he can only deal with the supports right now. Sacred his target, the help from the Terrorize. Pakazs, though, has slowed it down thanks to the Scotty and Mago with his Revenge Spear. They even forced the X off Sacred. They all fighting Raven. Raven is strong, but is he strong enough? Pakazs will show him he's certainly not. Dark Mago finishing off the last unit here, which was the Lich, as Willow managed to make the sneaky escape away.
Yeah, big fight for Thunder. They get the Aegis. Armel pops his BKB. You were a bit inquisitive on the timing, and I think it ends up showing there. The arena completely wrecks him. Nowhere for that Corral Force to run off to. And Sacred.
This poor old man running into walls.
He's couldn't find anything. And Thunder, there's no buyback. I don't think they know, but there's no buyback on a Raven. All the buybacks have been used. DJ's got it in 30 gold, so if he dies, he's likely to have it in but a few seconds. But Pakazs with the DD rune is making very quick work of the structures.
I don't know, that's the exact right play, though, because if you don't get the throne in this time, I mean, you still have 3 heroes.
No, you have to remember, no ping. Back in the Anti-Majors, they went for barracks, they lost the game out, but not here. They've learned this is why they have Pakazs. This is why Pakazs is Panda's favorite player, because he makes the calls.
He makes the calls to go for throne.
30 seconds.
10 seconds for the Kotl to come back. They have to fight. That's a delay as they go. And they kill Pakazs, but it's only his first life. Jab's already activated that BKB. The arena's still working here. Pakazs is back. Armel finally making it. Jabs is dead. The Willow bought back. What can they do? They have a terrorist. Pakazs is the BKB. They're trying to kill the throne, but that frost shield's working. There goes the Lich. No more frost shielding for you.
10 seconds. 10 seconds, and the Lifestealer's back, but will the throw last that long? It doesn't look like it, Avo.
Fighting
They're doing it. They're GG. They've evened it up 1-1.
Wow.
All the horses came that they could not conquer.
No. Call Thunder Awaken, Mongol.